Good morning, one and all. In this video lesson, we will mainly focus on SMPS, the importance, construction, block diagram, working of SMPS, switch mode, power supply. Nowadays, high quality, regular, and uninterrupted power supply is a basic requirement of all types of loads, especially the commercial, industrial, and domestic loads. But the power quality, that is in the form of voltage level, frequency, and harmonic free voltages, etc., will deteriorate, and the supply is affected due to power blackouts and power failures. Because of poor maintenance of power distribution companies, the power outages and blackouts are becoming very common. The critical loads such as computers, hospital equipment, including pre and post surgery medical care systems, and communication systems requires continuous and quality power, otherwise a major loss will occur in computers, and sometimes life of the human beings may also get affected in operation theaters due to power failures. Hence, critical load requires conditioning and uninterrupted power supply for satisfactory and reliable operation of these loads. So for that, a regulated DC power supply is needed for linear and digital IC based electronic circuits and control systems. For this purpose, a conventional and linear power supplies are also available, which is a DC to AC, which is a AC to DC converter where the output DC voltage is maintained. Okay. So in this video lecture, we will discuss to elevate the problems which are caused due to linear power supply by using a switch mode power supply. So how the switch mode power supply works, that we will see. First of all, before discussing, we will concentrate on the types of power supplies and various types of disturbances in power supplies and the devices which are used to suppress the spikes in power supplies, and we will focus on SMPS, its block diagram, and the working of SMPS, advantages and disadvantages of SMPS we will discuss, and we will compare the linear power supply with the SMPS in the last. Actually, please all of you see this image, and can you guess what it is? Actually, it is a regulated power supply system. For this, we are giving input as AC, and through this cable, it is connected to a power card. This cable is connected to a socket, and we are getting AC, and this is converting that AC into required regulated DC supply RPS by adjusting the value of this knob. We are getting the required voltage at the output of this RPS. So it is a power supply, regulated power supply. So what is the basics of power supply? The power supply system should give a constant output voltage, and it is a basic need of power consumers to get desired speed control of drives, to get continuous light without flickering. So for these requirements, we are using a power supply. And what are the different types of power supplies available are linear or conventional power supply, and uninterrupted power supply, and SMPS power supply. So in this, first of all, we will discuss regarding this linear and conventional power supply, and what are the different problems which are coming with this, and how to alleviate these problems with SMPS. The next class we will focus on UPS, uninterrupted power supply. UPS, it will be mainly two types: online UPS, offline UPS. How the block diagram of UPS will be there, how it is working, and what is the comparison between online UPS and offline UPS. That we will discuss in the next video lecture. Linear power supply. Actually, it is a AC to DC converter where it gives DC output voltage. AC to DC converter. It gives DC output voltage, and it mainly contains a transformer, rectifier, and a transistor biased voltage regulator. It will be consisting of a transformer and a rectifier. It will convert this AC into DC, and a transistor biased voltage regulator. If there is any changes in the DC voltage, that will be done by using the voltage regulator. The drawbacks of linear power supply are: it is large in size, heavier in weight, poor efficiency, operation cost is high. So it will be having more disadvantages as the circuit is becoming bulky, size is automatically heavy, and weight is also heavy. Efficiency is around 30%, so it is less, and operational cost is also high. It is consisting of more number of components. Automatically, the operating cost will be increases, and it requires a bulky transformer, laminated transformer core, bulky capacitor, shielding is required for RF. Regulation is zero point 0.1. So these are the some problems which we are getting from linear power supply. To overcome the problems which are coming with the linear power supply, we are going for alternatives. One is SMPS, switch mode power supply. Second one is UPS, uninterrupted power supply. So we are having these two options to alleviate the problems which are coming from linear power supply. SMPS will be look like this. So here we are consisting of a fan for cooling the internal parts of the SMPS, and here we are connecting the supply card to 30 volts input, AC input, and here we are connecting the output similarly to 30 volts AC output. Inside the processing will be done. So what exactly will be happening inside, we are going to see. So this is the diagram representation of SMPS. Top view, it is consisting of all these components, ICs. So what exactly will be happening inside, we are going to see. The power supply companies have to maintain the following characteristics. So these are power quality characteristics. Mainly it should have a constant magnitude of voltage and a constant frequency, a balanced three-phase supply, pure sinusoidal waveform. It requires pure sinusoidal waveform and a balanced three-phase supply. It should operate at constant frequency and a constant magnitude of voltage. And there should not be any transients. Voltage deviations means option A, electromagnetic interference, low or high voltage problem, harmonics, frequency. So option B is the correct answer. Voltage deviation means variations in voltage, whether it may be low voltage or high voltage. What is the drawback of linear power supply? high efficiency, low operating cost, small size, heavier in weight. So the drawback is heavier in weight. Remaining all are good quantities. So the heavy weight is the drawback of linear power supply. And in this topic, they are mainly asking on list the characteristics of power supply, power quality, list the drawbacks of linear power supply. So please you try to write an assignment on these questions. List the characteristics of power supply, list the drawback of linear power supply. Now we will switch over to the different disturbances which may occur in power supply. Actually, before that, what is disturbance? Disturbance is the deviation from actual values of voltage and frequency. Disturbance is the deviation from actual value of voltage and frequency. Suppose we are getting 240 volts instead of 230, so that 10 volts will be the deviation that will be causing disturbance. And suppose actually we need to get 50 hertz. In India, we are maintaining 50 hertz frequency. Suppose if you are getting 49.5 hertz, so the zero point 0.5 hertz will be the deviation, so that is causing disturbance. The disturbances in power system may occur for short as well as long duration. So we may accept small disturbances for a short moment, but continuous persisting of these disturbances will cause problem to the devices which are in operation. So we should remove the disturbances which may occurring in the existing system. The various disturbances which may occur in power loads are voltage deviation, frequency deviation, voltage spikes, harmonics, chopped distorted voltages, electromagnetic interference, power outage and blackout. So these are the various disturbances. Voltage deviation. Actually, we need to get a nominal voltage, that is 230 volts supply for single phase, and 440 volts for three phase. But when we are operating, due to the operation of load end and during power supply from source to load, there will be some power loss. Because of that, there will be over voltages and under voltages. Suppose we are getting voltages which are lesser than nominal value, then we are calling it as lower voltage. And suppose we are getting voltages which are higher than the nominal value, then those are called over voltages. So we may get over voltage or under voltage. So these deviations we have to alleviate. Our distribution companies are allowing a disturbance of plus or minus 6%, plus or minus 6% of rated value. So due to improper operation or due to radial lines, there will be some voltage deviations. Similarly, frequency deviations. Second type of disturbance is frequency deviation. So the deviation in frequency uh, from the rated value. So actually, in India, we are following the frequency of 50 hertz. Suppose if you are getting frequency which is lower than higher, lower or higher, so that is the deviation. So we are allowing a deviation of frequency of zero point 0.5 hertz. So the allowable range is 49.5 hertz to 50.5 hertz. voltage spikes. So when we are continuously switching the loads are the operating components which are involved in supplying the power from source into load end, there will be causes of spikes. There will be causes of spikes. This will be remain for a small amount of time. Harmonics. Harmonics also present due to continuous switching of the powertronic devices which are operating in the circuit. And chopped distortion voltage, electromagnetic interference, power outage, blackouts. These are the different types of disturbance which may occur in the existing power supply, and we have to elevate these disturbances. Very important. In examinations, they will ask you list any six disturbances which may occur in power supply. So for that, we have to write this thing: voltage deviation, frequency deviation, voltage spikes, harmonics, chopped distorted voltage, electromagnetic interference, power outage, and blackout. Now we are going to discuss each and every thing in detail. Voltage deviation. If supply voltage is less than nominal voltage, called low voltage, a poorly maintained distribution system experiences low voltage problems during peak hours. If supply voltage is higher than nominal voltage, called over voltage, the over voltage problem for a few cycles is not a serious problem, but continuous persistence of these over voltages will cause damage to the equipment. And the next disturbance is frequency deviation. It is another bad quality of power by poorly maintained power supply. It affects highly the performance of AC motors. The permissible limit of frequency is plus or minus 5%. Voltage spikes. It is a sharp voltage pulse superimposed over supply voltage that exists for a short period of time. So in diagram we will see it is a sharp voltage pulse superimposed over supply voltage. It is mainly due to switching transient voltage of the circuit breaker and lightning strokes. Okay, so these are the switching transients, and lightning strokes are persist for a very small amount of time, which will be causing a sharp voltage pulses on the existing waveform. So actually, this is the dotted line will be the actual pure sinusoidal waveform. Due to switching or lightning, we are getting these pulses. So this one is called a voltage spike due to lightning or switching operating voltage. Voltage spike due to lightning or switching operation voltage. And harmonics. A distorted supply voltage waveform contains higher order harmonics. Nonlinear loads of bulk consumers cause voltage harmonics. SMPS, electronic ballot, CFL, vapor lamps introduce harmonics. Harmonics are due to mainly nonlinear loads of bulk consumers are causing the voltage harmonics. So these are the distorted supply voltage waveform contains higher order harmonics, okay, which will be due to SMPS, electronic ballast, electronic ballast, and CFL vapor lamps will introduce the harmonics. These are the sources which are introducing harmonics. These are the unwanted quantities existing in the power supply. So these components will produce the harmonics in the system. So in the presence of even and hard harmonics, actually this dotted line will be the pure one. Because of presence of harmonics, the waveform will be distorted like this. So we are getting the actual AC voltage which we are getting. So that is due to the presence of the harmonics. even and odd harmonics. Chopped distorted voltage. It is a deviation of voltage waveform from a purely sinusoidal wave shape. Switching or chopping off supply voltage and then reswitching once or repeatedly cause chopped voltage. So these are the pure sinusoidal waveform due to continuously switching on and off the components at load end. So those are causing the distortions in the waveform in the form of chopped distorted voltage. So it will be due to reswitching once and repeatedly causing the these chopped voltages. So these are the disturbance chopped distorted voltage waveform. The thick one will be the chopped distorted voltage waveform. Causes of this chopped distorted voltages are a thyristor base control of load voltage, a high frequency AC voltage chopper, electric arc furnace, welding transformers. So these are the various causes for chopped distorted voltage. Electromagnetic interference. It is a high frequency noise in the supply line due to lighting, switching of power network. It is a high frequency noise in the supply line due to lighting and switching of power supply. The switching of high frequency converters, lighting, voltage spikes of spark plug of automobiles. So mainly due to continuously switching of the components which are existing at load end will be causing the harmonics and electromagnetic interference and power outage and blackouts. Power outage is a failure or disconnection of power for a short period of time. Actually, the power outage will be due to some problems which are existing in transmission and distribution. Actually, suppose there is a problem in transformer and we have to repair the existing transformer and we have to again send the power to the load end. So it is a small duration of power failure and this is accepted. But the blackout is a failure of power for few hours to several hours. It is a large period of time where the continuous breakdown of lines will occur, continuous failure of lines will occur. So that is blackout. Blackout is a poorly maintained utility for a few hours to several hours. So it may be longer period. Blackout is for longer period. Power outage is for short period. So instantly by repairing that we can supply the power to the consumers again. But blackout will cause failure of power for a large amount of time. So the device is used to suppress the spikes in supply voltage. Actually, by continuously switching the components at load end and the components which are existing supplying power from source end to load end, it is generating spikes, harmonics, electromagnetic interference in the supply. So to remove that, we are using these components called isolation transformer, MOVs, metal oxide varistors, snubber circuit. So it is consisting of RC type and transformer of voltage regulators. So these are the different components which will be used for suppressing the harmonics. Isolation of load circuit from the input source will be done by using isolation transformer so that it will offers large impedance for voltage spikes. Next MOVs, it will be bypasses the high voltage spikes as it is offering low impedance for that high voltage spikes, so it is bypassing those large voltages. And the transformer of low voltage regulators, it suppresses the voltage spikes due to transformer impedance come in series with the load. It offers more impedance to higher order components and voltage spikes. Number circuit, it is a very important thing. So we are using in all powertronic components. So it is basically a RC circuit. It offers low impedance for voltage spikes and hence bypasses the voltage spikes. So in these disturbances, we will attempt a small quiz. Voltage deviation means electromagnetic interference, low voltage or high voltage problem, harmonics, frequency. It is change in voltage problem, so option B. Next one, the total power failure lasting several seconds to hours is called power failure from several hours, seconds to hours. So more time will be blackout. Option A blackout, option B brownout, option C under voltage, option B over voltage. So option A is correct, blackout. Blackout is the correct answer. And on this topic, they are frequently asking state any four devices used for suppressing the voltage spikes. So please you write these questions as an assignment. One time you have to write. State any four causes of disturbance in power supply systems. You have to mention the causes. Just now we have discussed and the devices which are used to suppress the spikes which are existing in power supply. Now we have to know what type of power supply is used for special appliances like computers instead of linear power supply. So what extra we are using in supplying power to computers? Actually, we are using an SMPS. The power which you are getting from mains will be connected to SMPS, and the output of this SMPS will be connected to the special appliances like computers and the hospital equipments where we are having continuous power supply and quality of power supply. So this is the SMPS. So it mainly consisting of the input power supply and the output power supply. Here we are connecting the power cords of output power, and here we are connecting input to the SMPS. This will be the fan which is connected to SMPS for cooling purpose. So this is the representation of SMPS. Top view will be like this. By opening the cover, it will be consisting like this. So what are all these? We'll see in the block diagram. Actually, SMPS, in case of AC to DC phase control converters, in order to get ripple free DC output, the size of filter circuit required will be very large. Hence, it becomes inefficient in practice. So, this disadvantage can be overcome by using SMPS. So, in normal power supplies, what we are doing, we are using a converter which will convert the AC to DC. Then that will be sent to filter circuit. But at the output of converter, we are not getting pure DC. It is having in the form of pulses. To remove the pulses, we are using LC filter. So that circuit will be becoming very bulky, and it is not effective in practical usage. So for that purpose, we are going for SMPS. SMPS works on the principle of DC chopper. So the chopper is nothing but a DC transformer, which will chopper is a device which will convert the fixed DC voltage into variable DC voltage by operating continuously on and off very rapidly. The AC ripple frequency can be easily filtered by using the L and C filter circuits. So it is the now we are going to see the black diagram. It mainly consists of the components: line filters, rectifiers, driver circuit, choppers, LC filter, control circuit, inverter. So this is the main AC supply which we are giving to SMPS, and this filter will remove the surges, harmonics, and any electromagnetic interference. Such quantities will be removed by using the higher order harmonics, also removed by using the line filter. So it will be sent to converter. So it is a rectifier which will convert this AC to DC. Here it will be sent to a high frequency transformer, and here we are having the switching circuit. We are using isolation transformer. If there is any unwanted components, that will be removed here, and here it will be given as DC supply will be given to the inverter. The inverter will convert this DC into AC. Again, this AC will be sent to filter circuit. The filter circuit will again filter the unwanted components, and this required AC waveform will be sent to load. And the switching of inverter will be from driver circuit. So whenever the pulses are generated from driver circuit, the thyristors which are existing in MOSFET or IGBT inverter will operate, and it will convert into AC. So the generation of pulses from driver circuit will be from control circuit, where it is comparing the output voltage and the reference voltage. The deviation will be given as input. Accordingly, it will be triggering the inverter. Accordingly, we are getting the required voltage at the output. So this is how the SMPS unit will operate. We are going to see its operation. AC input supply is given to SMPS. The AC input is converted into DC by using a rectifier. The input to the switching device is unregulated DC, which may be available from AC to DC rectifier. The unregulated voltage is filtered by capacitor. This DC voltage is chopped at high frequency in order to withstand the fluctuations of the input voltage. The inverter stage converts the DC of rectifier to AC. The DC voltage is chopped at high frequency, converts AC by running through a power oscillator. The switching is implemented by multi-stage MOSFET IGBT. By adjusting the duty ratio of chopper, the output is maintained constant and filtered by using LC filter later. Now the ripple-free output voltage is applied to the load. Okay, this is how the SMPS will be working. At the end, output transformer, HF transformer, high frequency transformer. SMPS uses high frequency transformers. The frequency is usually about 20 kHz. Isolation between input and output will be done at the output HF transformer. The voltage is step up or step down on its secondary winding. So required voltage will be obtained by using the SMPS unit in this manner. The main advantages of SMPS are it will be having higher efficiency, compact in size, and lighter in weight. We are getting noiseless operation, and electrical isolation using transformer, ripple free output, several isolated outputs and different voltage levels, less sensitive in less sensitive to input voltage variations, less heat dissipation. So these are the main advantages. Actually, efficiency will be very high. We are not getting any noise while operating. Size is also compared to linear transformer. Size is also very less. And electrical isolation using transformer will be done, and ripples at the output will be removed. Several isolated output and different voltage levels, less sensitive to input voltage variations, and less heat dissipation. And coming to disadvantages, SMPS will be having output ripple and its regulation is worse. SMPS will get affected with electromagnetic radio interference due to high frequency switching. The control of radio noise requires the use of filters on both input and output of SMPS. Now we will see a small comparison between the SMPS and linear power supplies. So in parameter size, the linear power supply size will be very large and SMPS will be small. Coming to weight, it will be having all disadvantages. Linear power supply, so weight will be very high. In SMPS, it will be small, and efficiency comparatively good in SMPS. So it will be around 65 to 80%, and efficiency of this linear power supply is poor. The operating cost, because it consisting of so many components, linear power supply operating cost is high, and coming to SMPS low. Noise level at output, some noise will be produced due to frequent switching of the components which are present in the SMPS. So noise level will be comparatively high, linear power supply, and the main transformer will be bulky in linear power supply, comparatively low in SMPS. Filter capacitor is bulky in linear power supply and is small in SMPS. Transformer core is a laminated core in linear power supply. In SMPS, it is a ferrite core. And regulation is less than 0.1% in linear power supply and up to 0.3% in SMPS. Radio interference, special shielding should be provided. For SMPS, it will be negligible. Okay, this is the small comparison between linear power supply and SMPS. And today's we have mainly focused on the basics of power supply, linear power supply systems, and the drawbacks of linear power supply, power quality characteristics. We have also discussed the various types of disturbances in power supply and the devices used to suppress the voltage spikes in supply voltages. What are the different devices we are using that we have discussed. And finally, we come across SMPS, switched mode power supply. The black diagram of SMPS we have discussed. We have seen the uncontrolled rectifier, inverter stage in that SMPS, isolation transformer, advantages and disadvantages of SMPS. We have also seen a small comparison between a linear power supply and SMPS. Now we will attempt a small quiz on this overall class. The input to the switching device is controlled voltage, regulated DC, unregulated DC, all the above. The input to the switching device, we are giving regulated DC as input to the switching device. So option B. Inverter stage will converts the inverter stage which converts AC to DC voltage, DC voltage, DC to AC voltage, none of the above. Actually, inverter is a device which will convert the DC to AC. So option C. So on this topic, they are frequently asking on XMPS, draw and explain the operation of SMPS. So for this, you have to draw the black diagram and you have to explain the detail regarding each black, how converter is doing, how this isolation transformer is acting, how the inverter circuit will be operating, how the driver circuit will be operating, and how the control circuit will be operating. So each and every circuit we have to mention the function of the components existing in the SMPS. Compare SMPS and conventional linear power supply in any four aspects. Actually, we have discussed around 8 to 10 categories, the comparison between SMPS and linear power supply. Go through this and write any four advantages of SMPS. In the last we discussed advantages. You mentioned any four in that. What are the disadvantages of SMPS? So you write down the disadvantages. So please you write note down these questions and write assignment once on SMPS. Very important topic. Frequently they're asking questions on SMPS. Please you note down. And if you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, you will put the question as a comment in comment section so that we will discuss in the next video lesson. Thank you one and all for your patient listening. The next class we will discuss UPS, uninterrupted power supply. So how it is operating, what is the difference between this SMPS and UPS, and in that UPS we are having two categories, online UPS and offline UPS. How they are working we are going to discuss in detail in the next video lesson. Thank you one and all for your patient listening.